The year is 1470. High in the jagged peaks of Thessaly, the dawn does not break with light, but with a deep, resonating vibration that shakes the very bedrock of the mountains. 23 women are waiting. They are watching an empire that has already devoured half the known world fill the valley below. Most history books will tell you about the battles, but they don't tell you about the specific, calculated cruelty reserved for those who refuse to be erased. What happened in this convent was not just a tragedy, it was a test. A psychological experiment conducted by a rising superpower to answer a single, terrifying question. How do you kill a people without making them martyrs? If you are listening to this, you are about to walk into the archives that the world forgot. The Ottoman war machine has arrived. Sister Alani, the abbess, stands at the altar. She is a woman of peace. But as she looks out the narrow window, she sees the horizon bleeding red. It is the color of conquest. The army below does not look like a disorganized horde. It looks like a mechanism, a perfect engine of expansion designed to grind civilizations into dust. To understand the horror of 1470, you must first understand the trauma of 1453. Constantinople, the impenetrable shield of Christendom, had fallen. Sultan Mehmed II understood that to truly conquer a land, you cannot simply kill the bodies of your enemies. To truly win, you must kill their memory. You must erase their identity. This was the policy of erasure. The convent of St. Catherine was a beacon of the old world. Every time its bell rang, it was an act of defiance. The attack begins not with a charge, but with a sound that splits the sky. The first cannonball strikes the bell tower just after dawn. It is a deafening metallic shriek. The great bronze bell shatters. Imagine the sound, a scream of metal that vibrates in your teeth. In the ringing silence that follows, Sister Alani stands up. She raises a silver crucifix and begins to sing. Kyrie eleison, Lord have mercy. 23 women, choking on dust, sing a hymn of peace while the walls around them disintegrate. But empires do not stop for songs. By midday, the heavy oak gates are breached. But what pours into courtyard is not a frenzied mob. It is something much more terrifying. The soldiers who enter are calm. They carry ledgers. They carry ink pots. They move through the convent like auditors, not conquerors. To them, these women are not enemies. They are inventory. A translator reads from a scroll bearing the Sultan's seal, offering conversion or the consequences of rebellion. Sister Alani speaks, her voice clear and cutting. Tell your Sultan that we have already given our lives to a king. We have nothing left to surrender. The officer in charge is Hassan Pasha. He does not strike her. He smiles. It is a smile of genuine pity. He knows something the nuns do not. He knows that martyrdom is easy. Living is the hard part. That night, the brutality begins. But it is a silent brutality. The women are locked inside their own chapel. There is no food. There is no water. There is only the darkness and the sensory torture of the world outside. They can smell roasting lamb. They can hear the soldiers laughing, pouring wine. The sounds of life are amplified, taunting their hunger. Panic begins to set in. This is a breaking point. This is where the mind begins to eat itself. But Sister Magdalena, the farm girl with the callous hands, begins to whisper into the dark, "The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want." Her voice is steady. Slowly, the weeping subsides. The rhythm of the ancient words acts as a tether. Hassan Pasha waits. He is a patient man. He has written, "Faith is like a candle. It burns brightest just before it dies. We must simply wait for the wax to melt." On the second day, a servant enters. He brings fresh bread and cool water. The smell is overwhelming. The psychological cruelty is precise. They are not being starved. They are choosing to starve. Sister Alani says, "Then we fast." On the third day, Hassan Pasha enters the chapel. His voice is reasonable, almost kind. "You are not enemies. You are simply mistaken. The Sultan offers you new lives, new names. All you must do is speak the words." Silence stretches in the chapel. Or, Hassan continues, "You can come with us to Constantinople. The Sultan himself will hear your case. But the road is long, and the weak do not survive it. It is a death sentence disguised as a travel itinerary. Sister Alani looks at her sisters. Some are barely conscious. She turns back to Hassan, her eyes burning. We will walk. The journey is a descent into hell. 23 women, hands bound, stumbling out of the mountains. The sun is unforgiving. The dust coats their throats. By the second day, Sister Irene collapses. They carry her. She dies by morning. They bury her by the roadside with their bare hands. Hassan Pasha opens his ledger. He dips his quill in ink. 22 remaining. On the fourth day, Sister Callista simply stops walking. She sits down in the middle of the road. She has decided this is where her journey ends. The column moves on. By the time the coastline of Volos comes into view, only 18 women remain. But something has changed. They walk with a terrifying, synchronized silence. They have passed beyond fear. At the port, they are loaded onto a galley, a floating prison. Chained in the hold, the voyage lasts 12 days. In the crushing darkness, hope begins to flicker out. But then, a sound. Sister Magdalena begins to whisper again. Out of the depths, I cry to you, O Lord. When the ship slices through the Bosphorus, the skyline of Constantinople rises like a mirage. It is the center of the world. But for these women, it is the mouth of the beast. They are taken to the Topkapi Palace, but they do not see the gardens. They are taken down stone steps that spiral into the earth, into the service tunnels that honeycomb the bedrock beneath the palace. And here, the historical record goes dark. For centuries, the nuns of St. Catherine were assumed to have died or converted. They vanished until 2011. Archaeologists broke through a false wall in a storage cellar sealed for hundreds of years. What they found inside stopped them cold. The room was small, but the walls were covered in scratches, dozens of crosses, and beneath them, etched in shaky, defiant Latin, were 4 words: Lux in tenebris lucet. The light shines in the darkness. Forensic analysis tells a story of resistance. Traces of beeswax mixed with wild herbs from Thessaly. They had been making their own holy candles right under the Sultan's nose. They had lived there for months, perhaps years. By day, silent servants. By night, they stole away to the sealed room. They built an altar out of memory. On the wall, a carving, a small bird. Beside it, 23 vertical lines. A tally, but only 11 lines were complete. The rest were crossed out. They were recording their dead. An Ottoman ledger from 1482 contains a single chilling line: cleansing of the lower households. Unproductive and resistant elements disposed of. No names, no burial sites, just disposed. But they won. The Ottoman Empire lasted for 600 years. It fell in 1922. Its sultans are dust. Its armies are memories. But the scratches remain. Those 4 Latin words are still there. They outlasted the Sultan. They outlasted the empire. They outlasted the silence. Sister Magdalena, Sister Alani, and the others, they knew they would die in the dark, but they carved those words anyway. Why? Because they understood the one truth that tyrants always forget. You can conquer a city, but you cannot kill what lives inside the human soul. They didn't carve those crosses for themselves. They carved them for us. Lux in tenebris lucet. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it.